Cheers. Is there a better sound than a can cracking open? A cold can cracking open.
There isn't, but don't show your...
Oh, yeah, I'm not...
We're not sponsored yet,
I'm drinking water.
Gotta,
yeah, once we get sponsored, I'll put you on all the good drinks.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to episode 4 of Bust Up the Silence podcast. Good episode today, all right? Pretty fun episode. We're going to be talking about our first duty station. You want to explain why we're kind of skipping over?
Yeah, so we're skipping a few details. We're skipping MCT and we're skipping, schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Because not every branch does combat training for every single person. That's unique to the Marine Corps. And also, the schoolhouses vary greatly in length. We were only there for a month, and most people are
25
most people
days.
are there for a couple months.
25 training days, exactly.
Right. Some people can be up to the schoolhouse for an entire year, which is crazy. So we're just going to skip over it, and we're just going to go right into the most exciting part, which is that first duty station.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have pretty different first duty stations, so I'll let you describe yours.
So in the schoolhouse... MCT is where you... I fidget a lot.
Nervous ticks.
Yeah, it's my nervous tick because I know there's people watching. Even if it's just like 5 people.
Even though we're by ourselves.
Yeah, even though there's like 5 people.
We're in a room by ourselves.
Behind this freaking camera is still... Yeah, because... Anyways, but... found out I was going from MCT, I think is where you find out, right? Is that what you found out?
No, you choose in the schoolhouse. Whether you go East Coast, West Coast,
yeah. Schoolhouse, yeah. That's where MCT find out your MOS, for sure, yeah. But, yeah, in the schoolhouse, you get to pick East Coast, West Coast, or overseas, right? Not, pretty vague, if you ask me. That's pretty scary shit.
Yeah, you can go a lot of different
places.
Yeah,
that's, super scary.
But there are, 3 main ones in the Marine Corps. San Diego, Camp Lejeune, Okinawa, Japan. Those are the main ones that you think about when you're choosing those. Literally.
That's it, right? So, me thinking, right, I picked West Coast. Many reasons for that.
San Diego.
It's San Diego, At the time, I loved California. At the time. We'll get later on.
We'll talk about California.
Yeah, but at the time, I really loved California. A lot of music artists, this, that, alcohol, whatever.
Yeah.
Fun. Another reason was I am from Arizona, from Phoenix, Arizona. I was like, I think from San Diego, and don't quote me on this, I think it's a 5, maybe 6 hour drive to Arizona. I was like, I could do that. I could still visit my mom. I'm a mama's boy. That hasn't changed. Judge me all you want. But that was another thing, and then...
You're always somebody fucking judge me.
Yeah, I'm always like that. No, try to attack me. Just try to attack me. I'll come after you. I know where you live. But, yeah, I was a mama's boy. So, Arizona, fun in California, and the beach. I love the beach. I was born in Puerto Rico. I love the beach. That's my happy place. So, I picked West Coast. And I remember this day so vividly. They passed out a piece of paper, and they were like, when I read it, I was like, 1st Tank Battalion, 29 Palms, California. And let me describe 29 Palms to you. If you've ever watched Star Wars, and Christine hates when I talk about Star Wars, but I know y'all know, you know what I mean?
So, yeah, I'm sure.
Tatooine is the closest thing that you could get to 29 Palms. It's a
desert.
Barren desert. It's hot. It's nasty.
It's like every other desert. It's not.
This desert's different.
Special.
This desert's different. This is the closest thing to Tatooine I've ever seen. It's gross. And I remember driving up for the first time, when my NCO picked me up, and seeing nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. I saw a bunch of crackheads, which
Shocking that they're out there in the desert. But
they're out there.
That's probably the only place that they can inhabit.
It's the most affordable place in California, maybe, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because no one wants to live there.
Nobody wants to live there.
But yeah, that's a little description about where I went. I went to a barren desert.
And I went to paradise.
Yeah, she did.
So I chose overseas because, unlike Jay, I wanted to be as far away from my family as possible because I've always been like that. Prior to going in the Marine Corps, I traveled to Europe. I know, right? Sounds terrible. But I traveled to Europe. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to experience something else because I'm from a very small town in Missouri with no culture. Literally 5% of the entire population is other than white. So, all I grew up around was just country white people, and I wanted to see the world and experience other cultures. And being that I went over to Europe, I was hoping I would get like somewhere cool like Germany or something, which is like 0.01% that you're ever going to get that.
We don't know anything at this point in time about anything.
They just tell you like, oh, you could go to Germany, but it's very few people get to go. So I got Okinawa, Japan, which was awesome. Okinawa was beautiful, and that's really where everybody thought that they were going to go. Now, mainland Japan is a lot better, and I would have been a lot happier if I would have got mainland. But Okinawa is really nice. It's a tropical island right off the mainland, very close to Thailand, Bali, Philippines, Taiwan. So you can travel to all these other countries while you're there. Korea. Forgot about Korea. I went to Korea.
You're selling my little brother.
Yeah. Let me show you the flags, dude. No, Jaden, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
Shout out Jaden.
But yeah, so I went to Paradise, and it was beautiful. Being on a tropical island and being able to look outside of your barracks and see the ocean and see the beach. I'm sure you would have much rather wanted in the desert.
I messed up so bad. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, so that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's just a tropical island that you're living on, and you get to do so much stuff while you're there.
Yeah, and again, like her going to Okinawa and me going to 29 Palms, we went to two totally different units. We're not going to get into the unit. I went to, I think I already brought it up, 1st Tank Battalion. It was a ground combat unit, barely ground combat.
Yeah, I was in the air wing. Yeah, I was in the air wing. I was at a comm unit, and the air wing's like super relaxed.
I went there later on. That's where I met her. But went there later on, and man, two different worlds completely. And if I had to pick one, I'm sorry to tanks, but man, I would have picked.
I always pick the air wing. If I could have stayed in the air wing the entire Marine Corps, I would have.
A lot smaller, a lot more room for to get noticed is what I want to say.
A lot easier to get promoted and get awards.
Absolutely, yeah, because I came from a freaking, at the time when I was in tanks, it was like, I think it was like 900 Marines. 900 Marines, almost 1,000 Marines. It was
yeah,
and
bad. Mine was like,
it was so bad.
I don't know, like 300.
Yeah, so
like
you were a speck of dust in like a world of sand and shit. So, but
it doesn't necessarily matter where you start off. It all matters how you act whenever you're there.
That's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Huge deal. In 29 Palms, excuse me. When I got to my first unit, I believed, and this has always been me, I believed that you need to adapt to your environment. Mm-hmm. So when I got into it, I listened a lot, met the NCOs or your bosses, right? Your leaders, and did whatever they did. So, I found out that it was an environment of drinking. I was like, okay, easy day. I love beer. I love alcohol, right? So, I'm not an alcoholic. At the time,
you might have been
it was
classified.
debatable. At the time, it was debatable, but adapt to my environment, drank. A lot of partying. Again, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. That I'm sure later on this will come up. But partying, drinking, I was a slut, which didn't help.
It was the typical Marine life that you think about whenever you think of the military.
Exactly.
Just a huge drinking culture.
It was very scary seeing it from where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. Very scary. I didn't realize what. A lot of the problems that I had, whatever. But I met lifelong brothers there, that I still talk to this day. And with those guys, I did the most fun things you could think about. Now, I'm not saying that drinking and going out to different spots and meeting new people is a bad thing. But in moderation, it can be so much more fun because I did it from Monday to Sunday.
Right.
Or sorry, if you do it the right way, Sunday to Sunday, Sunday to Saturday. Whatever the hell.
I'm sure you took a day off, but
no, I literally didn't. No. I'm not even kidding. The people that my boys are watching this. I know they are, and other people on my socials and stuff. But the people that know me, I did not take a day off, and if I did, I was just doing that shit in my room.
Yeah.
You get barracks rooms in the Marine Corps. But yeah, in my room, I was doing that same exact stuff. And I think it was hell on earth to the outside world. To me, it was heavy.
Yeah, you probably thought it was the most fun of your life.
But Christine.
Yeah, so we are very different people, and I think that's why we ended up together.
Yeah, it works. It works. Trust me.
Absolutely. So when I went to the Marine Corps, I've always been very driven and very focused on what I wanted. So when I went in, I already knew, based off of what they told me in the schoolhouse, how to get promoted, how to be a good Marine. So I started off, I didn't really talk to anybody because everybody wanted to go out and party and drink, and I was like, I don't want to do any of that. Because I partied in high school. I got it out of my system. So when I went into the Marine Corps, I was like, I'm ready to focus and get promoted and make some more money, even though it's like $50. So I started volunteering.
It's easy to save, though.
Yeah, I started volunteering. I started going to college immediately. I started learning my job. I hung out with a few people that I knew, and that was it. Like, I just had a very close circle. I didn't really talk to anybody in my shop because all they did, again, was just go out and drink. So I didn't really feel like I could relate to them. Later on, however, I did become really good friends with everybody that I worked with. But at the beginning, I was one extreme, you were another extreme. We were complete on the opposite spectrum. And I think neither of those are right. I feel like if you meet in the middle of what we are, between focusing on your career and going out and drinking and having fun, you'll have a very successful and fun time in the
Absolutely,
Marine Corps.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting into, like, when you do either of the extremes, you don't maximize your potential in where you're at. Mm-hmm. I really do believe that. And it shows when you lead your Marines as well, which, again, I'm not going to get into because there's multiple videos we're going to talk about leadership, about teaching people. Christine's already looking at the board about what we're going to talk about coming up. But, if you're either of the extremes, you will not maximize what you can do in your unit.
Yeah, and in your life in general.
Oh, yeah, because this isn't just about the Marine Corps. It's what you're gonna. So what you do in the Marine Corps reflects when you get out.
Right.
I believe 100%.
Here's the best advice that I can think of: focus on what you want, but don't be a weirdo. Don't be the person that's shy and awkward and doesn't talk to anybody and doesn't hang out with anybody, doesn't build relationships. Because like you said, you still talk to people in the Marine Corps. I still talk to people too, and I have a lot on my social media because you become family with them, especially when you're in Okinawa because you don't have family.
That's a big deal.
That is your only family. That's the people that you're with every single day. That you go with to all your problems because, I mean, in Okinawa, it was like a 15-hour difference. So if I had an issue, my parents probably weren't going to pick up the phone.
Yeah, well, my parents would have. But anyways, shout out mom and dad. But, yeah, no, she's right. Very different worlds there because she had to deal with her own problems. Very late at night if you're depressed and sad and all that. But, I mean, I had my parents right there, which is a negative and a positive. But... yeah, don't be a freaking weirdo. And this is where me and Christine kind of, I want to say disagree, but we have two different views on it. I believe 100%, and people are going to be upset about it, that you need to adapt to your environment. So, as a new Marine, you're a nobody. You're a piece of shit. You're garbage. But that's the environment that my unit was so funny. No, you're ass. So that's the environment that my unit brought up. Eventually, it went away because obviously we got females in there and stuff, so we had to accommodate. But it was very different. So I believe you have to, if you're
do what everybody else does.
If your NCOs drink, you better be fucking drinking. And sorry for my language, you better be drinking. If they're going to San Diego today, looks like we're all going. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they'll test you. They'll test you. They'll be like, oh, let's see if this guy or girl is about it or not. I was about it. And again, it affected me in the long run in a, I'm not going to say a negative way, but a lot of the way that I thought and a lot of the things that I did with those people affected me later on, and I got...
yeah, so anyways, you just completely contradicted yourself, but that's okay.
Did I?
Yeah, because you're like, well, you should do this, but it negatively affected
No,
me.
I'm saying... No, okay. All right. As far as making it in the unit, and this goes back to where you go. As far as making it, you have to adapt to your environment.
It doesn't matter where you go. That's true for everywhere, I think. This is where it's like.
No.
Yes, it is.
Oh